this is my light through the darkness. This is where I look at it. It's like the food that is presented to you is gone through a lot of pain. $10 a piece come in, and you have to grade them all: extra small, small to medium, medium to large. And what I just try and be who I wish someone was for me when I was that age. I think this is the first time on any podcast I've ever spoke about this stuff. So I've always kept it to myself because I don't want people to like, oh, I'm just going to go and do it. So I had to get on the flight and go back, and I was just, wow, 6 months pretty much bedbound. Really was, you know, like you see another part of life.
Yeah.
And I think when you lose your health, it changes you forever.
Kirk, welcome to What It Takes. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure, mate. I'm very excited to talk all things food today with you. How's the start of the year been for you though? Let's start there.
Yeah, it's been amazing. You know, like at Plates, we're just trying to get better every single day. So that's the goal. So it's constantly like looking at ourselves, looking at the business, looking at the guest experience, and then constantly tweaking that.
Yeah.
And making sure that, you know, we're investing in the team and the people.
Mm-hmm.
That's also the most important thing, right? I believe you put your staff first, the guests will automatically equal that, right? Because they're purveying everything that you believe into the guests.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, I'm so excited to learn more about Plates and some of the other places you work, because you worked at some pretty special places. But before all that, growing up, your dad was also a chef, right? Was that where your career really started?
Yeah. My dad's still a chef now. He's still cooking at 69. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, my dad had he got a Michelin star at 26.
Wow.
So very young. So I grew up in that. Mainly my childhood memories are mainly my mum kind of getting upset that my dad's never at home and kicking off and stuff like that, really. Rather than my dad, because my dad was always at work, so it wasn't like he was cooking at home. But I was very lucky that I got to grow up around food, you know. My dad took me to restaurants, and I used to eat at my dad's restaurant if it was like my sister's birthday or something like that. So from like, 10 or something like that, I would get to eat at my dad's restaurant and stuff, which was amazing.
That's wicked. Was there always a bit of an idea that you wanted to follow in the footsteps, or was it a bit more like, I want to work out other things?
Yeah, not really. I wasn't ever really thinking about cooking until I kind of left school.
Right.
I used to do pot washing on the weekends when I was at school. My dad used to make me. My dad's like an old school guy where you work for your money, have your manners, have your respect.
Yeah.
Which is, I think is a good basis of life, right? I don't think I'd be doing what I'd be doing now if I didn't have that upbringing. And it was more like I left school, hated exams,
right?
Hated revising. Everything about school I didn't really like, apart from playing football in the breaks. And then, my dad basically one Christmas bought me like a chef's jacket, and then I started just doing like canapes on the weekend instead of doing the pot washing.
Right.
And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. Like, I don't need to wash the pots anymore. Felt like this massive like promotion.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of never really looked back, really. I think a lot of chefs say like once cooking gets you, it kind of gets you. And if you're passionate, you're driven, and you're willing to work hard, then it just becomes kind of your life.
So you were pot washing in your dad's restaurant. Seeing him at work versus seeing him at home, was there two different versions?
Yes. Yeah. It was a very interesting dynamic, because when I started to do my apprenticeship with my dad, I would be working with him, and then we'd get in the car together, and then we drive home together. And I always remember like driving home after I've had like a bad service, or he's told me off or something. And then I have to get up the next day and then do that again. It's quite interesting and quite difficult at times.
Yeah. Because
you don't really know. For me, it's just my normal. But then when I tell other people, they're like, oh, that must have been so hard. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. You know what I mean? From both aspects. Yeah. I don't think my dad realized maybe how challenging that was for me as well. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I have a good relationship with my dad. He taught me the basis of cooking. you know. But sometimes we fell out and it was hard, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Because I think as well, like I run plates with my sister now, and I think if like a friend or somebody else says something to you, exactly the same thing that your dad or your sister would say, it wouldn't annoy you the same, but it annoys you differently if you like know that person on a deeper level. So like, you know, like little things that my dad would say would annoy you more than if just that someone else said it. So yeah.
And going into a kitchen for a first time at that level of apprentice, right? Starting to learn and actually be taken seriously. Do you kind of remember that time? Was it a fond memory going into that level?
Yeah, it was. I don't think I really started. I was quite a young teenager.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying I was immature, but I was, you know, I wasn't the most mature at 16.
Right. Okay.
You know, you're a little bit cheeky still and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it was kind of, okay, now you have to like focus and you have to concentrate and you have to put in work. So yeah, it was kind of a big transition. And I think the even bigger transition when I moved to London at 20, after being up north. And that was a real like, holy shit. You know what I mean? We go for what's interesting up north is in that kind of area is the atmosphere and the type of people. It's softer, it's more friendly.
Yeah.
It's different. Everyone says morning. You know, people look at each other in the eye and they say hello, you know, and you get on a bus and you're speaking to the grandma behind you.
Yeah.
And then you get on a tube in London and you're like, whoa, why is no one even looking at each other?
It is weird, isn't it?
Why, if I smile at that
so
person,
weird.
I'm the bad person for smiling?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, you look a bit creepy, or you look.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
I do it on purpose now sometimes. I purposely like go on a tube and see how many people I can smile to and see how many people I get to smile back. Because it's bizarre, right?
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
So that was really difficult for me, that transition and getting into a London kitchen compared to that was a lot more intense, a lot more physically demanding, you know, no thank yous and no pleases, and it was just like hardcore. You know what I mean?
Did you, so going at 20 you came into down to London?
Yeah.
And that was kind of like the plan of like, I need to go to London to take the next step. Was that kind of the feeling you had?
It was more, I worked for a chef called Phil Howard at the Square, and he was one of my dad's best friends at the time. He used to cook at a food festival my dad created called Obsession. 25 years ago he created it, and Phil Howard did the first 10 years. So when I was an apprentice, every year Phil would be there cooking, and his food was just, at that time, was just probably the best in the UK. It was just incredible. So it was more that style of cooking and that chef that I wanted to kind of work for.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
And for those that don't know, what's the real process to that in terms of like getting to work in those kitchens? Like it's not an opportunity that everyone's getting, right? It's about proving yourself as you walk in the door.
Yeah, I think the amazing thing about our industry is most people will give you a chance, no matter if you've zero experience or you've got a year experience, right? If you've got the right attitude, you can knock on probably most 1-star, 2-star kitchens in London, and they'll be like, okay, I'll come and do a few days.
Right.
So I think it's more once you're in there, then you've got to prove yourself, right?
Yeah.
But I just believed in sending CVs, writing letters. Obviously, I was living up north, so I didn't really, you know, you hear the stories of people like knocking on the back of restaurants' doors, and I love that old school stuff. I think still needs to stay, because it shows you really want something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just through that, and luckily, like obviously, my dad was friends with Phil. So, you know, and obviously I met Phil through Obsession. So it was like, I asked him basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then how did you end up in a very famous restaurant in America? How did that happen?
I was working at a restaurant called Pied à Terre at the time under Shane Osborne. It was a 2 Michelin star restaurant. I was actually very happy there. So I struggled in my first year at the Square in London, and I left, and then I came back because I felt like I hadn't finished
Why did you
what I needed to do. Just struggled with how intense it was, and just the atmosphere and stuff. It was just a lot. But I wanted to give it another go in a smaller kitchen. Like at the Square, we're doing like 100 covers, lunch and dinner. So I went to a restaurant called Pied à Terre. It was very strict and very disciplined, but it was very fair. There was no like bullying going on, or, you know, like Shane Osborne was the boss and that was it, and everyone respected him. But everyone wanted to be the best. Do you know what I mean? There's only like 6 of you, and you're all pushing each other, and it's all like you're all competing against you in a healthy way, you know.
Does that always stay in a healthy way, or
No, it doesn't. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think in kitchens, some people want to put other people down. Don't know why. And as I've grown older, I feel that that's an internal issue, right? It's like, it's the same as bullying when you're a teenager at school. You think it's you, but it's actually the person that's doing it that's got the pain, right?
Yeah.
They're just projecting the pain onto you. You're just the vessel for that pain.
Yeah. Does it feel like a lot of insecurities when chefs and people in kitchens do that, in terms of they don't think they're good enough on that person, so they'll send that negative energy their way? Is that what you think?
Yeah, or they feel threatened by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because kitchens will always be competitive, right? Like, there will never not be a level of competition within that, because that's what breeds such big creativity. Would you say that?
Yeah, I think, but we should compete to all just get better as a team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't believe that you have to be shouty or any of these things that you hear in the industry to be successful, or to be a good leader, or to be a winner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm constantly looking at different. When I look at myself every day. I'm not perfect, but I'm constantly going, oh, how can I make that person tick? Okay, what's up with that person? Okay, that person needs something different than that person. Okay, let's move this around.
Yeah.
You know, like, how can I look at this guy in the eyes and he goes home at night knowing that his boss cares about him? Do you know what I mean? Like, I literally I tell my guys every day, like, I love you guys. Do you know what I mean? And if we do something wrong, that's how I'll introduce it. I love you guys, but we cannot cook like this. We have to, guests are paying this amount of money. We have to cook at this level.
Yeah.
We know how to season things properly. Please, can we pay attention and just think about those details, guys, and speak to them, And I think that's a constant growth and a learning phase in my position now that I've never been in before. It's an unknown for me. And what's interesting, every different character has different personalities. We're all so different, right?
Yeah.
And what I just try and be who I wish someone was for me when I was that age.
So what you're saying, you didn't really have that?
I don't think, like, it was all very like, work and boss, and you just work for that person.
Right.
The way I look at it is, even if it's 2 a.m. and one of my young chefs needs something, but it's got nothing to do with work, I want him to know that I will get up and I will go and help him or her.
Yeah.
That's how they're my best friends.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm the boss, and yes, I have to set the standards, and yes, we have to work to the way I want it to be, but I'll always listen to them. But I want them to feel that I actually care about them. And whatever they do and leave after, I'll always be there for them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not just this, oh, you worked there for 2 years and then you never hear from me again. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how I see it. I see it as like we're a big family of like close friends that I generally care about them.
Yeah. That's amazing. So did you learn part of that at the French Laundry? Was that that kind of environment?
Not really. It's just internal. Like I say, it's like, I want to be what I wanted when I was younger. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally.
I haven't learned it anywhere else, and I don't know if it's right, or we'll see as time goes on.
Sure.
What's achieved at plates, or what fails and what succeeds.
Yeah.
By just doing what I feel is right, as trying to be a good person, but also trying to keep standards and be a leader.
Yeah, because also the industry is changing a lot, and I'm sure we'll come on to that. But
yeah,
the industry has to change in a way because of
we should all want to change.
Yeah, totally, 100%. So tell me a little bit more about ending up at the French Laundry, because it must have been an incredible experience.
Yeah, so I was at Pied à Terre, and then my dad actually knows the ex-pastry chef there called Claire Clark. And he said, "Oh, I've got you in at the French Laundry. Like, I've been speaking to her, blah, blah, blah." And my dad was amazing at like trying to like always pushing me. And I was actually really comfortable at my job at the time, so I was like, I was just kind of like, I thought, I might get a promotion here and stuff like that.
How long have you been at Pied à Terre?
I've been there nearly like 18 months.
Oh, fine. So like
yeah.
But
I was planning on doing maybe 3-4 years. I wasn't even thinking about leaving.
Yeah.
But it was just like the book that always resonated with me was the French Laundry Cookbook.
Yeah.
I never forget just reading the care about how to cook a green bean that he wrote on that piece, and just thinking, God, like, that's like a dream. So obviously I was like, right, gotta go.
Yeah.
So yeah, just never thought anything of it. Handed my notice in. Obviously, explained to Shane why, and he was cool with it. I think he understood.
Is that your first time working in America at the time?
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
So
Different
America,
culturally, different way of
yeah,
thinking.
similar to I was kind of explaining with like how the North is different to the South. So this is also very, very different.
Yeah.
Very different. I mean, the French Laundry is like sitting in a Ferrari in terms of like the the vessel of atmosphere you're in, and the quality, and the the cleanliness, and these things. The level's just so high.
You obviously would have known that before you got there, right? Because obviously you knew the book. You knew that it was going to be another level, but were you surprised by the level it actually was?
Yeah, I think you have some sort of idea.
Yeah.
But there's always stuff that you're like, whoa, I didn't know that, or do you know what I mean? And I thought I was working at a really high level. And then you go there, and it's more, I think it doesn't matter where you've worked or how good your CV is before. When you start at French Laundry, you start at zero, right? And then you have to work up again. You have to prove yourself. But yeah, just the pure like professionalism,
right?
The cleanliness, the detail of every single thing. That's what I learned, is like the detail and the care, from the tiny things to like how you cut a label.
Cut a label
impacts the final dish goes to that guest, because it's all starts somewhere, right? Your standards start from cutting a label to how clean the floor is, impacts your whole kind of standards that relates to the food. It's hard to connect it to food, but when you understand it, and I think that's what French Laundry showed me. At first, I'm like, oh God, this is a bit much. And you think that in your brain, like, no, you can't put that there, it has to go there. And then when you understand why that has to stay there, and that has to go there, and everything has its place, then you really understand that that's creating a whole standard within the whole restaurant.
Yeah.
So then they do everything in that certain way and that certain standard. Then how you cut that piece of fish, or how you cut that pepper, how you put it on the tray, relates back to how neat you cut that tape. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I can
standards. It always starts at always. Everyone says everything starts at the top. It does, but it starts with the smallest moves at the bottom also.
Did you find that adjustment to that level of standard quite exhausting? Like,
it was mentally, like, I think, like, we'll talk about this, we'll talk about my health later on, but like, I know myself pretty well, and like mentally I'm strong, like I can take a lot, which has actually been sometimes detrimental in my life, because I'm like, okay, keep pushing me and I'm not going anywhere. I'm very stubborn. But this was different. It was just like constant of like, okay, redo it. What's that there? Your knife's not straight. You have to move your knife straight.
What do you mean? What, while you're cooking?
No, like when you're prepping at the French Laundry, like they're looking at everything about you. Like if you don't put your knife straight, they can see it. They see everything, and you have to like constantly stop and clean and polish the windows. And they have certain times where they do that, and if you have to do it. I
heard a story that they just do that randomly as well, right?
Yeah.
So they'll just say
housekeeping. That's what we shout. Yeah, they shout housekeeping, and then you have to stop and clean.
Did you find at any points, like, or you were saying it was kind of exhausting, but did you not find experiencing that in such an intense environment sometimes just a bit like, what's the point? Did that ever settle into that? Because I imagine it can do, because that level of detail, like for you now looking back, it must feel like part of your journey and part of your story, and you can respect it. But in that, and adjusting to it as a young person as well, like, was any of it just a bit like, why are we doing this? I don't get it almost.
Yeah, because you're young, like 22, 23.
Yeah.
And like, it's, you're in a different part. Like now, while I'm running my own restaurant, I completely get it. But I explain it to my guys. I'm like, guys, I'm only on to you guys like this, and trust me, you might find me annoying, but when you leave, you'll appreciate what you've learned. Trust me, because I explained that I didn't, but you know what I mean. Because we have certain things, like every half an hour I have to clean the floors, and certain things that I've put in place there. And sometimes it might get a bit annoyed, but I'm like, this is what we have to do to keep the standards, and it's my job to keep the standards. And when you go and run your own restaurant, I promise you'll look back at it and go, actually.
Such a funny thing, isn't
I
it?
appreciate that. And I think that's also the thing that I didn't get is a boss that communicates why they're doing that.
Oh, right.
Rather than just, this is what we do and that's it. Do you know what I mean? Which completely understand, like running a restaurant, there's time and all them sort of things.
Yeah.
But I try and explain to them why I'm doing that. So if they get frustrated, they understand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. How did the French Laundry look at mistakes? Because you were obviously kind of training there partly, right? You were.
Yeah.
What position did you go into?
Well, I just did a stage there.
Fine. So they know there's going to be, this environment of like, mistakes happen. How did they look at mistakes internally?
It wasn't really a thing. You just redid it.
And it was just,
It's just
clean
no.
and calm, clean and calm. Like,
Yeah, I never saw screaming and shouting at the French Laundry ever.
Yeah.
But you, like, it had that, like, it had that energy where no one would ever dare answer back. 'Cause it's like, this is the standards that we work to, and this is the best restaurant in the world, or one of the best restaurants in the world, and we have to redo it. And the sous chefs would just be like, redo it, and you just redid it. And that's
as simple as that.
Yeah. If the dice isn't perfect, you get told and you redo the dice. You know what I mean?
Was there sometimes with that level of perfectionism, and it's something I always think about, like running my teams and stuff, is that like, and you were saying about communicating it, it's that sometimes it's almost hard to explain why it is wrong, if that makes sense. Like some of these mistakes, like if you're dicing something a certain way and whatever that might be in your world. And as you're learning that, did you ever go through that experience of being like, I actually don't know how to get this right, if that makes sense? I don't know what good looks like, but then did they set that standard for you?
Yeah, the French Laundry, it was very detailed. So there wasn't really a space where you could kind of make excuses unless you were just like, listen, I'm not good enough, I can't do this job or whatever.
Right.
But they would, for instance, like if it was a red pepper dice, they would draw the size of the red pepper dice on the handover sheet the night before. So all your jobs would be written down, and there'd be diagrams of exactly what they wanted and exactly the right measurements.
Wow. It was almost like, so literally almost illustrated to the point where you could look at the diagram and look at what's that.
Exactly. Which is good, because then you can't make excuses, can you?
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, I didn't know, or the chef didn't tell me, or, oh, well, I thought it was done that way. It's like the proof is there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which I think is great.
When you were there, did you see people that couldn't deal with what the French Laundry was?
Yeah, lots. I saw lots of people just leave. Yeah, just because it's just too much.
And is that because they...
Just the tediousness of it.
Right.
Like 10 boxes of peas come in and you have to grade them all. Extra small, small to medium, medium to large, extra large. Yeah.
Wow.
Imagine how many peas that is. And then you have to blanch them. Blanching means hot water into cold water. And then you'd peel the little skins off the peas. Wow. But do you know how long that takes to just get like a container that full? Like a long time, right? And we'd be doing like 10 boxes or something. So you can imagine like the mental. I love that, me. Like them tedious jobs don't bother me.
Really?
But they get to some people. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm going to beat that person next to me.
And you sat in silence doing those little things? Is it a very
French Laundry? Yeah, it wasn't really, you couldn't really like start having a laugh.
No.
It was very serious and fun. Because you could talk, but you couldn't be like having a full-blown conversation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you could be like, hey mate, like, how many peas have you got? You could say stuff like that.
Fine.
But it wasn't like you don't speak, but you can't start having a crack. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, I get it. And for you, those tedious jobs, you were just saying you didn't mind them.
Yeah.
Is that just natural for you? It just didn't feel like a problem?
Still to this day, at my age now, I get involved. I'll pick parsley with the boys. I'll chop chives, I'll dice onions. Like, I don't care. Like, I actually like that part of cooking.
Yeah, amazing. So after you were there, you ended up in Sydney.
Yeah.
Why Sydney? What drew you to that part of the world?
It was
gone from the north to London to LA to Sydney.
Yeah, it was more Shane Osborne, who was the head chef at Pied d'Etel, was Australian.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of Australian chefs there because they all came over because they wanted to learn under him, because he was the first ever Australian chef to get 2 Michelin stars.
Was he really?
So he was quite big at the time, yeah. And obviously in Australia, they don't have Michelin. So a lot of the Aussie boys came over, and girls.
So Michelin don't actually reach Australia?
No, they have hats.
Ah, yes.
It's a hat system.
So he had two Michelin stars.
Two Michelin stars, yeah. Because he was in London.
Right. And then he went back over.
No, he stayed in London.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but there was a lot of Aussie chefs in Pied de Terre.
Right.
So they were all like, Kirk, go and work in Australia for a year, like go and get some rest and stuff, like because obviously you're working non-stop, and you can have a bit of a better life, get some sunshine, and blah blah. And I was like, you know what, let's do it. So because I used to love running and stuff like that,
Oh, right.
I like my sports, but I
Yeah.
couldn't really do any of that when I was in London because I was just exhausted. I just sleep all day on my day off,
Really?
literally.
No social life as well.
No. But to be honest, I just came to like work and learn. So it wasn't really, it was weird. I was in my own little, you're just on your own in your bedroom sleeping, and then next day you're back to work and you sharpen your knives. And I was kind of in my own world. It was fine. But yeah, that's why I went to Sydney basically, to try and look after myself a little bit and get a bit of a balance where I could work somewhere great. But in Sydney as well, a lot of the restaurants don't open for lunch. So you start, instead of starting like 6 a.m. like you were in London at the time, you'd be starting at like 11, 12 o'clock.
Right. Okay.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah. Huge difference. Especially if you're trying to kind of recover a little bit from a couple of hard years.
Exactly.
You catch up pretty quickly.
So it was nice. I'd be going on runs before work and all like stuff like that. It makes a big difference. You have an extra few hours in the morning. So that's why basically. And then there's a few amazing chefs there. One of the chefs I worked for at the start was called Mark Best. And he had 3 hats, which is the highest accolades in Sydney. I'd probably call it's some 3 hats are probably like 1 or 2 stars, and some are definitely 2 stars.
Right. Okay. Fine. Is it a similar system in terms of inspections and subtlety and that kind of thing, or is it?
I'm not sure. I don't think it's as kind of hidden and serious.
Yeah. Fine.
The hats as Michelin.
Great.
So yeah, worked there under Mark Best. Ended up, I was only planned to do a year, and then actually met a girl out there and ended up staying, obviously, like most of us do. Ended up staying, for nearly over 4 years.
Wow. What was the food influences like when you were there in Sydney?
It was amazing. If you look now, like, I think the biggest trend in the last 5 years is what all chefs have been doing is like inspired by Japanese cookery, right? Or Asian, especially in like the high Michelin kind of fine dining. In Australia, you're exposed to all that stuff. They take all the best soys from Japan, all the best kombu seaweeds, all the best sesame. Like when I was working at Key as well, which was an amazing restaurant. That's on the harbour. Right. Probably the most famous restaurant. A chef called Peter Gilmore. That's also a 3 hats. He was in like the top 50 in the world as well. Very famous for a dessert called the snow egg. You should look at it.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, we were using all the best Asian ingredients there.
Really?
So like my knowledge on Asian culture and Japanese flavors and stuff like that, I was learning all that then, which I only know now because I like twist it into some of my dishes. Yeah. A lot of people guess that come and go, oh, did you work in Asia and stuff like that? Right. And a lot of people say a lot of the Asian cuisine in Australia is sometimes better than some of the stuff in Asia.
Really?
Yeah,
interesting.
Really good.
What was the kind of environment like in the kitchens in Oz for you?
Yeah, again, so different. Again, you go from so many different variables. We're just way more chilled. Right. Still like really high standards, but just the Aussies live in a different. They put life before work. Yeah. They take it. They just don't take it to the edge of what we do. Do you know what I mean?
Is that serious?
Slight different mentality that I kind of missed, if I'm honest. It kept itching away at me.
What, the London sort of like?
Yeah, just a little bit of it where it's like, let's do it now, like right now. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Was it a little
in Oz, it's a bit like, we'll do it tomorrow, mate. Do you know what I mean? And just the type, but it was good to see again, because now I look at it and go, okay, I take all them different ways of being and put it into my team and how I kind of, because we can't live in, I don't want my staff to work, and have certain environments that I was in. So I pick and choose which, what I've learned and then put it in to my space.
While you were in Australia, was there an element of thinking what you're going to do next and how you're going to take some of those influences into what you want to do in the future? Was there a goal to open up a restaurant there? Did you want to stay there? Obviously there's a girl involved, so it makes it complicated, but what was the thought process at that time?
That was the time when I was like mid-20s, I know my goal was always to have my own restaurant. I was nowhere near ready then. I was quite late if you look at like the age that I've opened a restaurant compared to some chefs. But when I look back at it now, I was like, okay, I was nowhere near ready at that time.
Really?
So I'm
What
grateful.
was not ready for you?
My cooking style, the dishes that probably I would have created, there would have been a lot of failure there, which would have obviously you learn a lot. But yeah, just
Is that from a technical perspective or like a kind of creativity perspective, do you think?
I think when you're that age, like mid-20s, unless you are like an absolute genius,
Yeah.
like most chefs are just trying to like look at cookbooks and create dishes and influenced slightly by where they've worked. They don't really know themselves
Yeah.
or what they want to showcase or how they put dishes together.
Fine. So you weren't ready at that time to do that, and you kind of knew that.
Yeah. But it was more. Yeah, it was more like, even though I felt guilty sometimes because I'm like, oh, I should be working like I was in London. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like imposter syndrome almost. But I
Interesting.
tried to look at it as like, okay, what can I do with this time? Okay, I can go to the beach and write down ideas instead and stuff like that. So I used to kind of do stuff like that.
Did you recover from the previous couple of years of intensity?
Yeah. It was nice to start feeling good
Yeah.
and have some energy and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then what made you come back to the UK?
Well, I had to come back basically. I got really ill.
Yeah.
I'm like really, really ill.
This is 2016 time?
Yeah, something around that.
10 years ago. That's scary.
Time, yeah. I just started with the most. I can't explain how bad the invisible symptoms were, but like chronic pain, memory loss, like severe headaches, severe dehydration, stomach issues, like just symptom after symptom after symptom. I just found myself in the doctors like 3 times a week, going to have scans all the time, like trying to find out what was wrong with me. Every kind of pain medication you give me wouldn't do anything because the pain was so bad. It was like having the worst hangover I've ever had, times it by like 100, and that's how it was every single day.
Did this start while you were working?
Yeah,
In Australia, when you were working in Australia?
Yeah, well, I got bitten on my hand. I woke up one morning and my hand was like swelled up, like massive, like 4 times the size. So I got bitten by something. I didn't see what it was. So I went to the doctors and they just said, take these antibiotics for a week and then it goes down and you're good. So my hand went down and I thought it was good. And then I started then with all these crazy, horrible symptoms.
Jeez. And so you were working, trying to keep the job, trying to keep kind of focused, and that was all settling in.
Yeah, I was dealing with a lot inside. I used to cover my legs up in heat rub and wrap them up in like bandages because my legs were just so much pain. I couldn't hardly walk up the stairs.
When you say that chronic pain, so is that throughout your whole body?
Whole body, yeah, but really bad like in my legs.
Right.
Legs were the worst part, yeah. And I stayed for about a year trying to find out what was wrong with me, doing everything I could, all these scans. But the problem is in Australia, you don't have healthcare, so you're paying. Right, you're paying for all these scans. So obviously you're at the other side of the world as well. I've got no family there. So my dad was like, I can't help you when you're at the other side of the world. So that's when I decided to come back. And then we tried to find out what it was, because at that time we didn't know what it was.
Right.
And obviously, and I was on medication. I was on opioids, medication called gabapentin, which is like mainly for people with epilepsy, but people with like chronic nerve pain. It really helps. But then obviously that comes with lots of symptoms, and they're very, very addictive. Like I couldn't sleep without them, and I was still working like 15-hour days as well, and pretending to.
You were still working 15-hour days.
I'm pretending to a whole kitchen that was fine.
Why?
I just have this, and I've learned a lot now. Like I don't live in regret, but if I could have my time again, I would have stopped a lot earlier. But I just didn't know what to do. And
where were you working at the time?
I was working at Key.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know, at that age and at that time in kitchens, I don't know. Just kept going. It was always my thing, keep going. No matter how painful anything is, just keep going. Don't give up.
Yeah.
That's my mentality.
Yeah, no,
which is a good and a bad thing.
Yeah, because it's probably got you through it, but got you through it in a harder way than maybe it could have done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for you, it seems like you're into health, and I know you are now, and those elements. But like for you, having your body react to something you don't know what's wrong must have been fucking terrifying.
It's terrifying when you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
and everyone's just telling, like, doctors was making out I'm crazy because every time I'm going to the doctors, I'm telling them another symptom. So then I think I'm going crazy, right?
Right. So you were going back and being like, right, last time I was here it was this, and now I've got this and this on top.
Yeah.
Jeez. So you flew back to the UK.
Yeah.
And then what did you do about the health at that point?
So at that point, I moved back up north, lived with my dad, and then because I still had to, like, at that time, I was probably underplaying how ill I was as well, because I didn't want to stop cooking. So I worked then I was like, my dad needed chefs, so I worked for my dad. Actually, his head chef was away. She was just about to go on maternity, so he's like, I need someone to cover. And I took, like, basically like a head chef on top of all that. It's crazy.
Was that still your first one as well?
Yeah, under my dad as well. It's the hardest person ever. And then on our days off, like, I was just going to all these specialists across the UK trying to find out what was wrong with me. And none of them could really find out wrong with me. Otherwise, say, just keep taking the medication. It's not that bad. And I was like, no, I don't want to keep taking this medication.
You just go with Benson and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that is pretty seriously addictive, right?
Yeah. They've stopped kind of just giving it out now on prescription. You have to have, like, certain criterias. And I think they banned it in the US. But to be fair to when I was in Australia, like, the pain was so bad, like, it was horrific. Like, I needed something to at least tone it down.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then I was like, basically, after, cut a long story short, after 5 years of trying to find out what was wrong with me, going to all these doctors, like, not really taking me seriously, I was just like, right, fuck this.
It went on for 5 years.
Yeah. I'm going to find out what's wrong with myself. And then I started doing lots of research, and then a friend of a friend rang up my stepmom and was like, have you seen, there's this guy on TV talking about Lyme disease. It sounds like what your Kirk's got. Like all these invisible, like, everything he's been saying where no one believes you and it's invisible and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And I remember typing Lyme disease in and research, and I'm like, my heart just was like, that's it. I didn't even need to get tests. I could tell, like, feeling in my body.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all these symptoms, what I've been going on about for like 7 years, and no one's been believing me.
Yeah.
And then, I got some professional tests done privately in America and Germany, and it came, like, super high Lyme disease. The problem is with Lyme disease, so many things, co-infections. I had, like,
for those that don't know, how would you explain what Lyme disease is?
Lyme disease is a bacterial infection. So basically, like, spirochetes, they call them. They go into your body and they just cause absolute chaos.
Right.
So they can go into your bones. That's what causes all the chronic pain. They take all your nutrients from your stomach like a parasite would do.
Wow.
So you can't absorb food, like the nutrients. They just, like, cause it basically shuts down your body, like your immune system.
And
Everything that
caused
fights
by
for you?
getting bit?
I think that was the trigger for me. When I look back at my life, there's so many factors that were coming up to that point where it was just like, I was putting so much pressure and stress on myself, and it was like almost filling up a bin, and then the bin blows up. And I think the bite was like the opening of the bin.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, when you actually look at anyone that's had, like, chronic health issues or mental health issues, I don't know anyone, from my experience, this doesn't count for everyone, obviously, that hasn't had some form of, like, childhood trauma. Everything relates back to childhood, in my view. And it's only when I've done so much healing work on myself now, 10, 12 years of constantly looking at why. Okay, that makes sense. Why? Okay, that makes sense. That. Okay, when you're that age, you don't know how to absorb emotion or those things you saw, when you're younger. Your body's absorbed that and it turns into pain and it stores in your body.
Yeah.
Then it has to come out eventually. So there's them sort of things that all pile up on that thing.
So discovering that you knew finally what this illness was.
Yeah.
Relieved? More stressed? Concerned? What was the feeling?
Yeah, like worried, but also relieved. Yeah. I was like, at least I can work to something. I can find somebody that can help me. I can do something myself. And that's when I started to, like, look at the guts, because I remember the first thing reading about was, like, when you have chronic leg pain, for instance, you're constantly like having scans on your legs and looking at your legs.
Right.
But the pains can be controlled through your gut.
Interesting.
A lot of people have headaches all the time and they look at the brain.
Mm.
It's probably the gut that's causing it.
Yeah. Because that is basically second brain, right?
Yeah. You can have shoulder pain and it can be caused by very terrible diet and your gut's just inflamed, right? And it's just, that's the reaction that your body's, every symptom is your body trying to tell you something, right? We just take paracetamol and then shut it down instead of listening to what is talking to us. That symptom is our body communicating with us, and it wants you to listen. Where medication just shuts it down, right? We put a blue plaster on everything. That's how society runs now. We don't look at root cause. We don't look at ourselves.
And during the 5 years when you were really ill, what was your, I guess, diet health like? Because famously, some chefs are pretty good at looking after their diet. Some are less so good.
Yeah, most aren't.
Yeah, most aren't. I was trying to be kind there. But like for you, was there a bit of a correlation to go like, I've been on the meds and taking lots of like medication and blue plastering it, but did you kind of realize that actually there's probably a connection to how much you've been looking after your gut while you've been so ill?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I didn't eat terribly. Like, I wasn't one of these guys who's in McDonald's every night. But I didn't eat great. Like, I wasn't conscious. I wasn't going, oh, let's have a look at those ingredients. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was drinking Coca-Cola and sometimes, and and then now I'm like, you wouldn't touch Coca-Cola if you paid me.
Really?
And I wouldn't touch a Big Mac if you put 100 grand on that table.
Really? So tell me about the discovery then. So you went through the whole process of understanding more about how the body's working and food in another level, in a more medical sense.
Yeah.
So what was that process for you? Was it like a deep dive of research and then you helped yourself, or did you then work from those tests with doctors and other medicals?
Yeah. So once I started to read about the gut, this was when I was waiting for my test to come back. So I was like, this had stopped working by this point.
You weren't working so far.
Yeah. Because after my dad's, I went to work for a chef called Sat Baines because he introduced a 4-day working week. But it was still like 4 long days. But I was like, oh, maybe I can handle that. But I was still really ill.
Right.
That lasted about 10 months. And that was like the last of it, where I was like, I couldn't even walk through a door properly. I fell asleep in my car and put it into the back of a lorry on my way to work.
Oh my God.
Because my chronic fatigue was so bad.
What, you just almost passed out?
Yeah.
I did pass out.
And then I had to go to work and just pretend I was late and then take a bollocking for being late. Yeah, it's all the crazy stuff. And that was like, okay, shit, Kirk, this is enough now. Like, you literally can't carry on. And I accepted that myself.
Right.
That took, best part of like 7 years.
Was it you talking to yourself on that, or were people around you starting to like?
No, I mean, I only knew I was just good at lying and covering it up and pretending I was fine. Do you know what I mean? Like men are. We're good at it. Yeah, I'm good on the phone. How does that person on the other side of the phone know you're actually in agony if you don't tell them?
Yeah.
So I was just pretending I was fine all the time.
And how quickly did you start to get better?
So when I moved back here with my dad, so I did a lot of stuff on the gut. This is when I was like basically eating plant-based, but without knowing I was eating plant-based or knew what plant-based was or anything. I was just taking out dairy, making soups with like, because I was intolerant to dairy, making soups with like coconut oil, avocado oil, all these different oils. And I'd be tasting like, wow, that's delicious. Making all these like salads with raw garlic on, because raw garlic's really good for the gut and it's an antimicrobial and it's nature's antibiotic, right?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, so like when I make a dressing, I make it super medicinal. So we put an oregano in it and coriander, because coriander detoxifies heavy metals from the body. So I've been reading about this stuff and then cooking it for myself almost.
I heard about the garlic thing you just said. People that have been severely ill that have just like consumed an awful amount of raw garlic. It literally like clears out.
It's not good for your breath.
Everything. I mean, like there's a downside to
everything.
Well,
there's like a thing called Allicin Max. Allicin Max, it's called.
Yeah.
This is like garlic. They're like high absorption, kind of high level garlic capsules, like supplements.
Right. Yeah. And that's literally
it's a better way of than eating loads of raw garlic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair point.
So then I was obviously reading about Lyme, and I'd ordered a protocol from a doctor called Dr. Cowden. He's an American. He created like a tincture like program, like a protocol basically, where you take tinctures, drop them in water, and they kill different types of bacteria for Lyme disease.
Wow.
And you have to take them at certain times per day. It's very intense. I was doing that. And I was doing another thing called bioresonance. Bioresonance is quantum physics, so it's frequency based. So everything that's going on in this room now is frequency, right? It's connected to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It's all frequency. Our body runs on frequency. A guy called Raymond Rife created a thing called the Rife machine in America decades ago. And I think he cured 17 terminally ill cancer patients with a Rife machine.
Wow.
Don't I have to fact check this. But and then
That's amazing.
he disappeared, funnily enough.
Is it a bit of a conspiracy thing?
Well, it's true that he disappeared, but this Rife machine
What,
then,
never seen again?
gone. Gone. And a lot of people then started to catch up on this and then make Rife machines, make bioresonance machines. Bioresonance machines are actually in a lot of hospitals in China and Russia, where they diagnose what's going on in your body.
Okay.
And it's amazing. You can see everything.
So it's almost like a scan system where
Yeah.
they can literally scan inside.
Intolerances, but viruses, bacterias, everything.
Wow.
In a really like cost-effective way. Like blood tests cost a lot of money, right? But also what they can do is they can treat those things bioresonance. So it can show up like Lyme disease, co-infections, candida, Borrelias from it, and then you can treat those things through the frequency. So the bioresonance machines have the certain frequencies that these bacteria work on.
Yeah.
Imagine like electric shocks, and then they match the frequencies and then basically attack the frequencies,
Flipping out.
what these bacteria are on through your body.
Yeah.
So you basically put your hand on these plates, and the frequencies going through your body. I have a Rife machine at home. And you can treat anything and everything on it.
And for you, with where you're at, it worked.
And so I did these 3 things, like that, diet, lots of the herbal stuff, bioresonance. I was doing like twice a week with a guy in Liverpool actually that was getting amazing success treating dogs with Lyme disease. And then I actually saw a woman that was getting treated at the same time as me, and she was in a wheelchair through Lyme disease, ME, like chronic fatigue, and he got her out of a wheelchair. That's the thing, when people tell me
the wheelchair.
yeah, she was walking
Flipping
again.
out.
And when people tell me that like things are conspiracies, well, I want to see. I'm not bothered about reading a study from some controlled thing.
Yeah.
Through a system.
Yeah.
If I see something from a physical person actually storm cold getting better, then that's enough for me. And as well, when you're that ill, you'll try anything.
Yeah. Were you quite desperate at that point, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he got more desperate on the second part of this story, but yeah, I was just up for doing everything to get better. It was almost like the way I looked at it was like, okay, I put all this energy into cooking for somebody, for cooking for people in a restaurant that I don't even know, and giving everything to the point of making myself ill, and carrying on and carrying on and carrying on. I'm going to put that same energy into myself. And if I do that, then I've always got a chance, because I'll never give up on myself, because I was never going to give up like trying to create the best food. So I did for about 9 months, like, and I was very strict, like cut out 0 white sugars. I was literally just drinking filtered water every day and juicing like all the time, only eating organic, 0 alcohol. Like within 9 months, I got about 80%, I'd say 80% better. I was like running again.
Wow.
From not really being able to walk up the stairs without medication. Got off all my medication on my own with those things.
That's insane. With no one else really giving you the guidance and advice.
Yeah.
You know, no professional doctors, no NHS, just getting on with it.
And I used to make like, I used to buy like pure oregano oil, frankincense oil, stuff like that. And I used to make my own capsules, ashwagandha powder and stuff like that. And I'd buy the capsules and I'd make my own supplements. And I used to create like an itinerary of like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then put them all in. That's what I mean. I put the same passion and energy into it. Instead of looking at it in a negative way, like, oh God, this is gonna. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this almost. It sounds weird because it was so painful, but make it exciting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because
How much can I learn about this?
Yeah,
and like treat this as something that's gonna make me a better person. Which you did.
Did you get pretty obsessed with it?
Yeah, now I've
bad way or like
I kind of had to though.
Yeah,
it's like I think people that kind of say those things have no idea about the people that have actually been that ill before.
Yeah,
You can't be like, oh yeah, but I'll still go and have a Mackey's on a Wednesday night. Trust me, your body keeps the score. Have you read that book?
No.
Read that book. Your body keeps the score. Like, and you know, like even if like the odd time, which I never did, but I'd like a piece of chocolate or something, and it'd play on me that I broke like the trust or the deal that I made myself to get better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. No, it makes
Now
sense.
I'm a lot more evened out because of how far I've come, but I'm still like quite strict on myself.
You mentioned before, so you were starting to get better, but you were mentioning it became harder again.
Yeah. So the second part of so, which sort of leads on to the last kind of 5 years. My best friend lives in Australia.
Okay.
We went out to Australia together. He has a restaurant. And because I felt better, my mate booked me a flight to Australia to basically, we're going to do some dinners to raise awareness for Lyme disease.
Nice.
Which is not really allowed to be spoken about in Australia because doctors don't want to admit that it's a thing.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, they don't want to treat it, or they just...
Because it's so complex. Like you need a whole like a whole system just to treat Lyme disease.
Really?
Because you can't treat it just with medication. You have to treat it on understanding that whole person's life.
And just so I can understand it, is there different levels of Lyme disease in a way? So can you
Yeah,
have
for
way
sure.
more severe, a little bit more like you've got a little bit, which you need to do that. So it's very complex.
Yeah, exactly. There's some people, like I've got a friend, she's not left the house for like 3 years.
And she's got
She can't physically, yeah. Her mum has to take her to the shower and feed her. And,
God.
Yeah. And she's just left, like there's no help on the system.
Is she UK?
Yeah, she's UK, Birmingham, yeah. We still speak now.
Bless her, that's awful.
But yeah, I've known her from like the start of the journey. There's a very famous musician actually, he's blown up, he's called Ren. He's incredible, but he was doing YouTube videos 15 years ago talking about Lyme disease, and he's done some treatments and done so many stuff and been so ill. And he speaks about it in his music as well. He's incredible. He's called Ren. I'll show you him after.
Yeah, I do.
He's like the most insane artist as well.
Really?
Like, mate, he's going to be like the biggest star in the world. Yeah, he's that big.
So you went out to Oz to raise some money on the dinners?
Well, yeah, that was the plan. And then like Kirk again, I was still in that era of kind of not listening and wanting to like do what I wanted to do in terms of like my dad. My dad was like, don't go to Australia, you put all this work into getting better, like it's such a long flight, you know how sensitive you are, Anyway,
was it just for a trip, sorry? Were you going just for like a couple of weeks?
3 weeks.
Oh, fine.
Yeah. But the flight to Australia is like 30 hours, right? With the stopovers and all that. And at that time, again, a big learn. I didn't realize how stressful and impactful flights were on your health.
Right.
Like the radiation, the air. Do you know, like the aircon is created through the propeller of the plane?
What?
Do you know what I mean? So you're pushing that air.
It comes through the jet engine and goes back into the cabin.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I hate flying, so...
yeah, me too. Anyway, cut long story short, I basically landed in Australia and all my symptoms came back.
Shit.
But
so
like,
when you boarded the flight, you were in a good spot?
Yeah. And I was like 80% better, going off all my medication. Going like, fuck, this is great. Like, I've done it. I can go and enjoy myself.
Did you feel fine on the flight? Or were you gradually getting worse over the...
At the start, I did. I knew, like, towards the last bit that I was starting to feel, And then you got to look at the jet lag, like, so different. Like, morning is night there. Night, morning. It's opposite for you. And that's still a lot people don't realize when you're fully healthy and strong. But when you're compromised, that's a serious amount of stress on your body.
Fuck, so what happened?
I was just in bed for the whole time in Australia, pretty much. I was so ill. I was absolutely like, that's the time where like, I remember ringing up my sister crying at like 1 a.m, going like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to live anymore. Because I put so much work in. I've gone through so many years of like pain and the trauma of the doctors of like not believing you is a lot as well mentally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can understand.
Like, you know how you feel inside and you're told that you're fine. Like,
yeah, it's really frustrating.
You actually feel like you're going crazy.
Yeah, because you start to question yourself.
So yeah, and then I spent the whole 3 weeks basically like trying to get better. Like my mates were like booking me massages and all sorts of stuff. I couldn't sleep. Like the jet lag was so hard for me. Yeah, and then it was just like a case of like, how am I gonna get back and deal with that? Do you know what I mean? Do it all again.
Yeah.
So I had to get on the flight and go back, and I was just, wow, 6 months pretty much bedbound.
Just from the flights.
Yeah.
That's
When I came back to England, I was worse than I was when I was in Australia.
Why, in your understanding of the disease, like why were you worse coming back to the UK? Is it just
Just
how it
like the
reacts?
double, like two flights of 60 hours, right?
It's crazy how that flight is so impactful to the
Yeah.
disease.
The stress and the pressure of,
Does that just magnify everything, basically? That stuff?
just weak, like your immune system compromised. Already when you've got a weak immune system, it's like, it's not a great thing.
And for you, obviously you've already said it, but like mentally, you must have been in a really fucking hard place.
Yeah, that was the hardest place I was in when I came back from Australia, and I was like in my bedroom on my own, like stuck for a long time.
Did you see that it was gonna eventually get better, or did it just feel like it's just
Before that, I'd always thought so. At that point, I was like, no, because it was so bad. The pain was worse than I'd ever have it. It was horrific. So I had to go back on the gabapentin as well, just to get some sort of ease, which was also hard because I put so much work in, to get off that type of medication. It doesn't just take a week.
Yeah.
It takes months and months
To feel
trying, okay, taking a little bit more, taking a bit less, like, okay, not sleeping one night, all them sort of things. So yeah, that was really hard to take.
What year was this?
I'm not good at years.
This is pre-pandemic, right?
Yeah. Pre-pandemic, yeah. 20, about 8 years ago, 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I take it you got better at some point. How did that happen?
So no, then I was like, okay, obviously I'd heard like people like Ren doing these big treatments, and people online, there was some people online sharing of like treatments and Facebook groups, stuff like that.
Mm.
And there was this one place in Cyprus that was doing an array of treatments for Lyme disease, different types of ozone therapies, laser red therapy, colonics, vitamins, IVs and stuff like that. And it was 6 weeks. So you got her for 6 weeks. So you get like treated every day.
Wow.
So I was like, I'll do that.
So they're doing pretty much every treatment to attack every area of the body.
Yeah.
In every single way possible, like colonics, red light therapy, like the whole lot.
Yeah.
Wow. And what was that like?
Intense? Yeah, it was intense, and it was just full of people that was in the same boat as you. They were like invisibly ill.
Was that reassuring in a way to know that there's?
Yeah, I met some beautiful people. Like,
yes,
really, really was. Like you see another part of life.
Yeah,
and I think when you lose your health, it changes you forever. Like you really look at things so differently. Like nothing else really matters in life. Like if you haven't got your health, what can you do?
Did you feel like that?
No, we stress about getting a mortgage by the time we're 30, and we have to have this, we have to have that. I'm sitting in a £10 million mansion, mate, but sit there in absolute agony. You don't care about any of that stuff. Literally. So yeah, I did the therapy, and it was 6 weeks, and then that made me even worse. So I went there thinking that it was gonna like make me better and be this magic thing.
Mate.
And it made me even worse. Like
then you already were at that point.
Yeah. It was just too intense to give me too much. And I do ozone now, but on a lower controlled level.
Sorry, what's ozone, just for a moment?
Ozone's basically H3O. So it's basically like gas.
Right.
It's like the reaction
of
on molecules.
Right.
It's a big thing. Like look at like Tempass, where they basically Tempass ozone therapy is a Russian method, and they take out the blood, they ozonate the blood, and then put the blood back in the body, and they do it 10 times, and it cleans the body, cleans the blood, and like meant to like rejuvenate your immune system, stuff like that. But again, every single person's different. That's the thing with Lyme disease. You can have 10 people all with the same treatment. Some people get better, some people get worse, some people won't feel anything.
Really?
Yeah.
And is that because of the level of research that they're trying to do to understand it, or is it just
your body? Like for me, it was just too strong, because it was too much. Like it's too much stress.
Yeah. Flipping out. So you got worse.
Yeah. So then I came back, and then I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I was like, okay, well, I don't dare doing any more big treatments anymore. So it was like, you could go to another clinic, but they're like 10, 20, 30 grand, these places. So they're expensive.
So you're probably burning through all the cash you've made, and
well, just my savings since I was a young kid. My mum always told me to save since 16.
Really?
So it's just basically all that. Yeah. So and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go back to all the things that I did at the start that like aren't too risky. Do you know what I mean? So the bioresonance and the protocols and working with naturopaths, and then obviously food and all that sort of stuff. But I was so ill that nothing could bring me back. And that's when I got a Rife machine as well. Invested in a Rife machine. I had a sauna in my bedroom. And I'd just go from like sauna, shower, bed. And just, yeah, keep trying to get better. And this was for like, yeah, another couple of years. I was pretty ill.
Were you working at that point?
No, I mean, no, but this is when I just started doing plates like once a week.
Right.
Because I'm like, mentally, I need something to like at least have a little bit of purpose and do something. That's when I started doing like 1 day a week pop-ups at Trinity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, I can hopefully manage like 1 night a week, because that's how we started plates basically. And it gives me something mentally to like look forward to as well, because my work was all just about getting better, like researching something, trying it, buying it, doing it. You know, I'd be getting on trains all over the place, meeting people, trying their things. Oh, I've got this new thing that's amazing. Well, okay, can I try it? Go there, try it, buy it. Oh, okay, you know what I mean? It was like that.
Yeah, I get
It's
it.
like I was literally just doing anything I could to get better.
And so, when you approached Trinity to do the pop up, what was the concept you wanted for plates? What was the main thing you wanted to try and create? And was the goal to? Sounds like it wasn't, but it was like thinking of what a restaurant might be, but also just trying to get back into the work mode.
Yeah, look, I was not thinking about a restaurant at all at that point. It was more like, yeah, just for myself, like giving myself something to
Yeah.
feel a little bit of joy towards. You know, I couldn't do my running anymore. I'd have to quit so many things. I couldn't hang around with the same mates anymore because I couldn't drink any. I stopped drinking. So your whole life, kind of, you lose most of your social life, right?
Yep.
Cooking was the only thing that really I had
Yeah.
kind of left. So, and it was my mental. Like, I always think, like, my kitchens are great places if the environment's good for your mental health. Really, they are creative. You're part of a team. You're excited. You know what I mean? So many things. I think we don't talk about that side enough if the kitchen's run really well. So yeah, it was more like just to do something, you know. And I spoke to Adam Bayer and had a chat with him, and he was a bit worried about my health, that maybe I wasn't well enough and stuff like that. But
Did you tell him at that point? What
yeah,
was
he
going on?
knew. He
Right.
knew. Yeah. He knew. And he still asks me to this day when I see him, like, how's your health? Are you all right? You know, like, but yeah, I just told him, like, I need to do this for my health. Do you know what I mean? I need something that I can, like, work towards, sort of thing. Yeah. And then I just started, and then that, I was always searching to, like, even if I was like, okay, I'm a little bit better, I wanted to get more better and more better. You know what I mean? And again, my goal was to get back off the gabapentin. And at that point, I was still on it. And I was still, the thing with medication, it gives you all sorts of other side effects as well.
Yeah.
And then what it does long term for your health, it's not good.
Gabapentin's pretty aggressive drug, isn't it?
Yeah, and you don't want to be on. I don't want to be on medication all my life.
No.
That's not healthy. And that's when I started to. This is kind of where the healing gets to an all other level when it comes to like deeper stuff. And I'd always, funnily enough, read about plant medicines, specifically ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And I'd always like scared to death. I'm like, yeah, no, this is like 10, 15 years ago. Anyway, around that time when I was still pretty ill, but I was kind of getting somewhere, but I was still searching and trying to get to the next level. And I was still in quite a lot of pain, but I was on the medication, but I was managing stuff a lot better, but I was, you know what I mean? I read about a thing called Cambo. Now, Cambo is the secretion from a monkey tree frog in Amazon. It sounds absolutely insane.
Say that again, sir.
From
One more time.
A monkey tree frog,
Right.
like a green tree frog.
Yeah.
In the Amazon.
I hate frogs, but yeah.
And they scrape the secretion off the belly of the frog, and it has peptides in it. It's incredibly powerful.
Who discovered that?
Well, in the Amazon, that if you look, the kids have been taking this medicine since the age of 5, 6, 7, 8,
Oh, wow.
10. Yeah.
Generational thing.
And you got to ask yourself, why does that generation really never get sick? They're not going to doctors' offices.
It's mental.
In the Amazon jungle, right?
It is mental, that.
So there's something there to be read about. And I've always been curious about anything. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, sat with it. and all these things, you know, like you think, oh God, what could happen? Blah, blah, blah. And for me, it was like, I got to a point where I wasn't scared anymore because I'd been so ill for so long. And I was like, I kind of lost fear of like, okay, if I die, I die. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
The fear of death kind of like,
I guess
like,
for you, you've gone through chronic pain.
for so long.
It's changed your life.
Yeah.
You've also done almost every treatment you could possibly do at that point as well. So it's kind of like, well, why stop here in terms of the treatment trying? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but what's interesting with Cambo is it's incredible for pain and incredible for addiction. So I know some people, friends personally, who have done it, like who are alcoholics or addicted to cocaine or stuff like that, and it's completely got them off.
So what actually is this process with Cambo?
So basically what they do, you probably see it, I've done many ceremonies now, but they basically burn dots, 3 dots, 3 to 5. You can do it anywhere in your body, but different parts of your body it's stronger. So if you do it by your spine, it's more intense. If you do it by your heart, it's more intense. And then they scrape the skin off, and then they put the poison of the frog.
It's technically a poison.
Yeah. So that's what protects them in the outer world, in their world. And then your body basically within a couple of minutes starts getting really, really hot, like really, really hot. Your heart starts pounding. And you feel this medicine like, whoo, like they say, the Cambo goes to the places that needs healing. You can feel this, it's like, zoom, your body's gone like this.
Wow. Fuck.
And you have to, obviously, you can't like start freaking out and get anxious. And basically, you have to
freak out and get anxious?
No.
Or you chill?
No, I mean, if you do it with a good facilitator, and that's very important. Like, I don't speak. I think this is the first time on any podcast I've ever spoke about this stuff, because I've always kept it to myself, because I don't want people to like, oh, I'm just going to go and do it.
Yeah, right.
Like, you can't do them. Like, these are highly powerful things that need to be done in very, very safe spaces.
Yeah,
with people that know what they're doing.
Were you doing this in the UK?
Yeah.
Right. Stupid question. Is it legal in the UK?
Yeah.
Fine. It's not like a underworld type situation.
No, but it kind of is, but yeah.
It's a grey area.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
And what it does, then you drink lots of water. There's 2 ways of doing it. You can drink all the water before, then take the Cambo, or you can take the Cambo and drink all the water. The way I do it is drink all the water once the Cambo's on. And then you basically purge all that water out. So you basically be sick. But it's not sick, it's like you're purging all the toxins out your body. And you just have this massive release. It's great for emotional and mental release as well.
Wow.
Lasts about 10-15 minutes, not long.
What was the first experience like for you? Because you've done a few.
Scary as hell.
Really?
But I was like, I could feel my body like healing. It was weird.
What, like in like kind of like?
Yeah, just like the pain easing.
There and then as it was happening?
No, like after.
Right.
Like it stays with you for like long weeks after. And then you have to obviously rest. Sometimes you can do Cambo and feel so energized after. I can go to the gym, like literally straight after. And then sometimes I just want to lie on the couch and rest all day.
Is there like moments of like, does it give you some form of high in that level of like release?
No, it's not psychoactive or psychedelic.
Right. So, but it's a very like almost like everything's falling out of your body from an emotional state. You're saying it's affecting emotions as well, right?
It's great for pulling like emotional pain and stuff like that.
And how does that, you were mentioning about the addiction stuff. What's the correlation of benefit there? Does it just sort of change mindset? Like how's that helping?
Yeah, good question. I'm not 100% sure in terms of, it just basically like clears all the toxins out your body,
right?
But for the addiction, I think just the power of the medicine, just in terms of you're not addicted to the stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, that. So I did many ceremonies, and that got me off the gabapentin again the second time.
Right.
With all the other stuff, I was still doing the tinctures. I was still really focusing on what I ate. Do you know what I mean? I was still doing lots of meditation and.
Without Cambo, do you think you would still be ill?
Well, I mean, I'd probably tried something else, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. I also did a lot of work with mushrooms. So
right.
Magic, like psychedelic mushrooms.
Right, okay.
With facilitators. Again, so like we've trained people. So like you don't take mushrooms on a night out like with alcohol. That's not what they're there for. Like mushrooms are teachers. And they showed me a lot about like, again, my childhood, and healed a lot of that, which also helped me with healing pain and them sort of things.
Wow.
Because they go back and show you your life. you know, and really help you like see things and see life in a different way, give you a lot of gratitude for things. So those two things together at that time took me to the next level in terms of getting better as well.
And was this during the pandemic period by this point?
Before before that, during it, and after. Yeah,
And
I
how
still do it now.
you still go on with
Yeah,
it
yeah.
now? And is that something where you just have to work with those practitioners?
Yeah, I mean, I go when I feel like my body needs to go.
I was going to ask you, what happens now with your health? So is it a constant maintenance? Like, how do you look at, you obviously changed food lifestyles and all those things for good now, I'd imagine. Like for you, does it feel like there's a pretty stable future, in that makes sense? Or was it flex?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just because I love cooking so much. I'm so passionate.
Yeah.
And love my work. It's about controlling that and not being so work obsessive all the time, and actually remembering your health. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And taking some time out and stuff like that.
So you can keep doing what you love.
Yeah.
So let's talk about plates.
Yeah.
Because how many years have you had plates for now?
Well, we've been building plates for 8 years, but our site in Shoreditch is 18 months.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me what was in this site before?
It was like a little rundown. It was a cafe.
Yeah.
But then they closed, I think, just kind of as soon as COVID hit, and then it was derelict for like 3 or 4 years.
Amazing. And you found it, and it was a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So you were saying you were building it for 8 years. So what is the concept behind plates? What are you trying to build with that? Obviously, it's kind of personally related to you, right?
Yeah. So the deeper journey, which this is my light through the darkness. This is where I look at it. It's like the food that is presented to you is gone through a lot of pain.
Right.
And that's my journey. That's my message, really. And I think I'm trying to like work out now how to convey that to the guest and stuff, which is super interesting. But yeah, it's about, that's the first time I ever did a soup without dairy in it, from a chef that'd been trained to put dairy in everything, and going, wow, that's delicious. And then getting almost like a calling in my body that I need to pursue this direction of cooking. There's something that I was pulled, I was told, I was called, or whatever you want to call it, that I need to share this story with the world. And the creative part of it, where it's so restrictive in terms of ingredients, what can you do with it? Do you know what I mean? That challenge gets me up in the morning.
Yeah.
How creative can you be today? And I'm here to create a genre of cooking that doesn't need a label. I think I've said that always. Like, I'm not here to I don't like calling food vegan, all these names. Like, food is food. If it's delicious and it's exciting and it's innovative, then it should be respected in the same format.
Why don't you like the labels?
I just think it gives a connotation to, like, say like you go up north and you said to someone, oh, do you want to eat vegan tonight? As soon as they're in their head, they'll be thinking, oh, I don't want to eat a bowl of lettuce or some lentils or some chickpeas. It gives them a vision in the mind of a style of food is, and my food does not reflect that at all.
Right. But you wanted it
My food is the opposite of boring, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely looks the opposite of boring as well. But for you, so when building plates, was it always to focus on plant-based?
Yeah. That's what we've done all the time.
Yeah.
But it's to keep pushing the boundaries of like what's possible just through nature, and make plants like super exciting.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is like 95% of people come to plates eat everything, or like say like their partner's vegan and their husband's not, and he didn't want to come and she did, and then after he's like hugging me because he loved it that much. Do you know what I mean? That's amazing for me.
Yeah.
That's an amazing feeling. And then I love it when plant-based people come and they're like, I'm so glad there's a place to come where I'm made to feel special, because you're always the second, like when you go out for dinner, you always get like the crappy veggie options and your mate's having a lobster or a piece of steak. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that again is super rewarding.
I've got a friend of mine
drives me.
Yeah, I've got one friend who is vegan. I'm a pretty
He's kinds of flakes, don't mate?
Yeah, 100%. But like I've not really been around many people who are plant-based, right? Like most of my friends, most of my family, all pretty much will eat anything. And she always says it's like it's always second best. It's always not, even in some restaurants, they're just not putting that much attention into it. In terms of what that option might be, which is challenging. But it seems like you're completely flipping the script on that. And you started with your sister.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Why did you want to do it with her?
My sister's always wanted to do. She loves food. Always wanted to do like something in food.
Yeah.
And she's supported me so much throughout my journey. Like when I couldn't afford to pay rent and stuff like that, I was living with her.
Oh, amazing.
You know, I've been so lucky in that respect, same as my dad. And she's super smart, which helps, doesn't it?
Are you kind of opposite?
Yeah, we're opposite. I'm like physical, and she's like, I can make this. She's got so many amazing ideas. She knows how to bring business in. She knows how to look after clients. She knows how to build a brand.
Right.
And I know how to like make a product happen very fast.
Yeah.
So it works really well.
And do you enjoy working with her?
Yeah. We've had challenges,
Of course.
but we have boundaries now, and we learn. You know, as you get older as well, like last thing we want to do is fall out. And
What does your dad think
families
about you guys
fall out.
working together?
And it's my dad. Yeah, he's proud.
Yeah.
I think he's a little bit jealous, really. I think he always wanted me to be like his chef.
Right.
I think he wanted me to like run his restaurant for him or with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But deeply, I think he's proud. Yeah.
Is it when he comes in? Is there ever a little bit of like just a bit nosy, wanting to know what's going on?
Yeah, he wants to know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you guys got a star.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly. I mean, I think you were the first plant-based restaurant in the UK for a Michelin star, right?
Yeah, first ever.
That's insane. For you, like, it was that the goal as you opened the doors? Was it like, we want to aim to that? Obviously, you want that standard, and your background in training is of a Michelin standard, right?
Yeah.
It's a big part of what you've done. But what was your perception on that?
Yeah, it was internally, but I never really voiced it. I was like, let's just try our best. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be challenges. We're going to have bad services. Things happen in restaurants, especially when you're opening them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to start shouting to everyone that I want this and that. You know what I mean? But internally, that was the goal. Yeah.
What did it feel like when you got the star?
Do you know what? It was interesting because the feeling that an accolade that you've wanted since you was a 16-year-old boy, and then when you get it, you're like, okay, next.
Really?
Yeah. I struggled to celebrate it, really.
I was going to say
it
to
was
you,
like-
so I watched the video of on the Plates Instagram of you guys getting the star, and your expressions aren't like overwhelmed, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like you, and that may be just how you are in the kitchen and with the team and stuff, but like, you know, screwing up the plaque and cutting the cake and that, like, it all looked great. But when I looked at you in it, I was like, I don't know. It feels like it's a road that you've walked before, but am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I don't know if it was that. It wasn't that, because that's the first time I've got it. But I think through all the, I don't know. It's interesting.
Because I guess also you've gone through so much in your personal life, like, you know, incredibly low lows that some people would really struggle to get through, and you obviously did struggle to get through.
Yeah.
But like getting to the point where you are the first plant-based is a big deal. But it's almost, I get what you're saying in terms of, you're like, you have that in the mind, it's part of the journey. It doesn't mean we stop going forward, right?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like, technically I should be on the floor probably crying. Which I probably will be doing when I get 2 stars.
Oh, really?
But I don't know. With that, it was a weird feeling. That's the only way I can explain it. But if you watch Great British Menu, that was very emotional and very connected to my journey.
Right.
And very everything that you're probably thinking I should have been on the other. But I think it's just because I know I've got more in me, and I know I can do more, and I know I can do better. And I think Great British Menu was this like big thing, so many people watching.
Yeah.
Like, this is my whole journey and pain encapsulated in my body that nobody knows about, and I've got to show the world that this food, like, I was almost doing it for everybody that suffered as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like all those people that are still suffering now, that's for them. Because it was like, if you fight and you believe and you keep going, you can heal and you can get better. And that was like, winning that was like, so that was the best feeling in my life.
Because you won it in 24, right?
Yeah.
Was it hard?
So hard. Yeah. It's hard. Like, you don't win that competition easily. Like, the chefs are amazing. It's intense because it's on TV. You've only got like an hour and a half to do your dishes.
Yeah.
It's in October, so for me, it's terrible for fruits and vegetables to do
Oh
a
yeah,
whole
of course.
menu, like 4 or 5 courses. Every chef watches it, so you're going to be judged, right?
Really?
Oh yeah, you're going to be judged left, right, and center.
Mm.
You've been very vulnerable. So yeah.
What do you think there was a reason why you won?
I think it was just my time. The food was. I got very important things right, and
Right.
I practiced a lot to be able to put the detail into my dishes. So like the seasonings were perfect. Like I made sure. Because the first time I did it, I don't know if you know about it, I did it like 4 or 5 years ago. And when I was still quite unwell, but I was like, I
It's
can't.
in Great British Menu.
Yeah, when I was
twice,
still ill, but I couldn't. Obviously, I was like, I can't miss out on this opportunity, so I'm going to do it anyway. But it was too much for me, the pressure and
Really?
still being not well. And I messed up loads of dishes because I didn't practice properly. It was in COVID I did it. And then I went through 6 months of like really, really bad like depression where I thought everyone's going to think I'm a shit chef and blah, blah, blah. And I wrote down like a journal, everything I'm going to do when I get my chance again and I'm going to win it. And when I got my time again, I did all those things. Because I learned when you do TV, it's a whole other world. It's nothing like you're watching it. So when you're in there, you experience it. Oh shit, this is how it is.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, right. I know how that works like that. I know that them pans are there. I know that, you know what I mean. So the second time you go in,
Yeah.
it's like you've got much more awareness of what's going on. So I was like, right, when I get my second time, I'm gonna win it.
Did the second time put any strain on you from your personal health, or was it?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Because your adrenaline's so high, you care so much. You like getting up at 4 and you're sleeping like 3 hours a night because you're waking up like 4 a.m. like thinking about your dishes. Oh, check it. Like you get paranoid. Oh, like thinking you forgot something, or you know what I mean. Like your brain plays tricks on you.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it's a lot. The adrenaline, the pressure, the stress, the emotions. It is, but that was amazing. Like
The impact that it had on your career as well.
yeah.
Can you try and explain that?
I think it's the most impactful thing that's ever happened in my career. I think it's amazing. I owe a lot to Great British Menu for that opportunity, and I think lots of chefs do as well. It just filled the restaurant for the whole year. Like as soon as we launched a booking website online, like our website crashed.
Crashed
We had 76,000 people trying to book at the same time.
for the new plates.
Yeah, for the new restaurant. Yeah, it was just
76,000.
Yeah,
Flipping out.
it was just insane. So it was amazing.
That's one way to put more pressure on the launch of it, right?
I know. Imagine like people queuing up like half an hour before. I'm like, oh, this is all I need. But yeah,
That's
be careful
nuts.
what you wish for, right?
Yeah. And
Careful what you pray for.
Is that really
I
extended?
used to
as well?
pray for these things.
Really?
Like when I have hard days now, I'm like, I am actually living my dream. Like this was like 8 years ago. This was my dream. And I think it's good to look back and have gratitude because once you get those things, you don't acknowledge or appreciate it. You know what I mean? But when you don't have them, you're like, oh, it would be amazing to feel that or have that.
Yeah.
It's like, you've got it, mate. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's just a psychology of like, always wanting to do better. It's a good thing, but it's also a burden.
What's that thing where we're always saying to ourselves, like, I'll be happy when this happens. I'll be happy.
Yeah,
when that happens.
I can guarantee you now, and I thought it, none of these things will make you happy.
What things?
The things, the material things,
Mm.
none of them will make you happy unless you're internally happy.
What does for you now then?
Just a very simple life, feel good in my body,
Yeah.
healthy. That's it. I don't need much in my life. Like very simple. Like I don't, like I like my routines. I do my saunas, do the gym, do jiu-jitsu now and again now. But I don't need to be going on lavish trips all the time and be in a champagne booth or just to look cool. Like just doesn't do anything for me. Do you know what I mean? And I just have good people around me. I think it's the most, the best way. Small circles, good people.
Amazing. So with plates, you said you wanted 2 stars. What's the future for plates? Where do you want to take it?
I want to take plates into a place where it's like on the world map. So like we really transform how plants are presented in a creative way that's kind of never been done before. That's the long-term goal. So like the whole experience, etc. So we're working on it at the moment. And it's difficult when you have a tiny restaurant because you've got to make financials work as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I want it to be like world class. I want like everything to be like amazing.
Is the goal for it to be around for as long as possible? Is the goal get 3 stars? Is the goal be better every year? Like how do you goal set now? That's kind of what I'm
My
asking.
goal set just by like, I don't really set like, okay, I have to get this by this time, because then I think you can end up disappointed, right? And then you,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? I think they say expectation leads to disappointment, don't
Yeah.
it? So just habits, isn't it? Yeah, I would love to get plates of 2 stars, just what it would do on the world map. But again, if that doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's not meant to be. I'm also wise enough in life now that I know things happen for a reason, and I know if it's meant for you, it'll find you. So yeah, just focusing on the product and
That's what
not
you
looking
do.
anywhere else really.
Yeah.
And then I'd love to, like, maybe in 10 years time, I don't know, do another creative project in a smaller capacity that's less intense or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Insane. I've got a few questions around the industry just generally to finish up.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot is, I feel like your industry is massively blowing up at the moment in terms of eyeballs on it. People talking about it. The shows
Talking about
coming out.
Noma.
Huh?
You're talking about Noma.
I know. I mean, yeah, Noma was what, yesterday? That whole thing's kind of happening. But I think the biggest question I have is that everyone knows hospitality is a bit screwed right now as an industry in terms of like the ability to make money, the ability for businesses to grow. We were talking about Heston closing one of his places down. It's been there for 17 years and like those sorts of variables. For the people listening and for the people that aren't in the industry as much as obviously you are and maybe have the understanding that I do, what is the biggest problem in the industry right now for those businesses and those restaurants?
I think the biggest problem in the industry right now is the lack of support from our government, really.
Right.
I think 20% tax, VAT, sorry.
Yep.
Is crazy. Business rates, like, they're almost making it impossible to run. Like, if you're not full every day, it's really impossible to make a business like successful. And you
Full
need
of the turning tables, right?
Yeah, you need to be doing like I do consultancy and lots of other stuff to bring other things in to support the business that I have to do on my days off. Because there needs to be some respect on our industry, I think, from everybody, from society and from the government, for business owners, and then we can, like I say, I'm trying my best to change, working culture within the team and give them better working hours and stuff like that. But there's only a certain level you can go to, because financially you'd have no business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And you're the guy that's taking all the risk and all the pressure and all the stress. So there has to just become some sort of medium where there's some fairness in it. That actually, otherwise, what's going to happen for the younger generation that want to open restaurants? There's just not. There ain't going to be any.
Do you think
It's
that's
going to
the
be too
future
hard
if we don't change it?
Yeah, and it's a shame for the the young 21-year-old cooks now.
Yeah,
because when they get there, they're working to have the restaurant. By the time they're 30, they're gonna they do the financials and go, phew.
It doesn't make sense.
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
And then there's going to be less people wanting to invest in restaurants. But our industry is incredible. It's so resilient, and I honestly believe that we can overcome anything. And I think it's good that there are still people out there willing to risk it.
Who excites you in the London scene at the moment?
Who excites me? Who excites me in London? Good question. I mean, like I said, Adam Byatt, got so much respect to him. We spoke about it before.
Yeah.
I think he's rightly, deservedly having his time now of being recognised as a legend.
Yeah.
He's worked so hard, I think, again, with, not as much recognition as he probably deserved throughout his 30s and 40s. And now he's becoming this kind of shining light in the industry, and almost like a, what's the word? Like a Bernard Loiseau or or a Rue Brothers, where they're
Mm.
classically trained and just showing the younger generation how to do things properly.
Yeah.
Um,
I really think he is
So I got-
investing in the future.
and his
generation
food
as well.
looks insane as well.
Yeah.
He's pushing the creativity of his food in the restaurant as well. So yeah, I think Adam Byatt deserves
be the one.
deserves it this year.
Yeah, amazing. Well, look, Kirk, you've told me so much, man. It's been like an incredible story, like absolutely incredible, and you've been through so much personally, and you're now building an incredible business and a brand. My question to you is, what do you think it takes to build such an interesting business, but also having a career that you've had?
Yeah, I don't think there are any secrets really. I think it's just like resilience, hard work, like passion, care about what you do, and yeah, never really give up, I think. And if you believe in something, if you feel something in yourself, don't listen to anyone else. I used to, and if you feel that feeling, you've got that feeling for a reason, so follow it.
Amazing. Well, look, dude, thanks so much for coming on.
No
It's been a
worries.
pleasure. I'm excited to come down to the restaurant and get
Yeah,
some
right,
food.
go,
But yeah, you've been really inspiring today, and it's been a pleasure to meet you and chat. And I'm sure we'll see each other soon.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, dude.